Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah. Thank you for passing through. Hopefully you're here to stay to the very end. Now, I just started reading this book, The Spirit of a Man by Iyanla Vanzant. I've tried reading it before and I just was not in the mood. But I've gone through a lot of changes recently, just doing things differently spiritually, and something told me, let me start reading this book again. And it made me think about this morning what kind of man I'm trying to raise my son up to be. So this video is definitely more aimed at women with boys, excuse me, as that's what I have. And yeah, I have always been quite mindful of what kind of man I want my son to be, or at least what kind of traits I want him to have, because I want him to be nothing like his dad. So from an early age, I've always tried to instill certain morals into him, just certain disciplines. I try and make sure that I'm always researching what men do, what they should be doing, what they think they should be doing as a man, because I'm not a man. But yeah, I'm raising a boy as a woman to one day be a man. So I've always been quite mindful about just what I can do and change and adapt and add into his life. So for example, I remember listening to one documentary. I'll list it down below because I can't remember the name of it. But it said something that really stood out to me. Don't know where my voice is going today. It said girls are raised to do everything they need to do as women. But men, they aren't raised to cook, they aren't raised to clean, they aren't raised to take care of their hygiene in terms of like it being really important. So that was something that I started to instill in my son, because I thought, actually, yeah, I remember with his dad, it's like he expected just because I'm a woman that I'm going to take care of everything. And he couldn't deal or maintain certain household things, which caused issues between us. So with my son from an early age, it started off with him making sure that he separates his clothes to go in the washing machine. He has to empty his food into the bin and put it into the sink. Now that he's older, he scrubs his plate, he puts it in the dishwasher. Sometimes I'll actually get him to put the laundry on. I've showed him how to iron, so as he's getting older, he knows how to iron his clothes. Whenever I'm cooking simple meals, I get him to come and help me, and I encourage him. I say to him, oh my gosh, the way you're cutting those onions is amazing, even though you're crying and moaning like a baby, but you're doing such a great job. I say to him things like, oh Malachi, whenever we cook together, the food just always tastes better. I'm always trying to encourage him and motivate him and help him just to know that he is the best that he can be, and he should always keep trying. So we've even got into a new routine that after school, the first thing that he does is that he goes in the shower and then he does homework. And that's homework that I've set for him. He barely gets any homework from school. But this is because depending on what kind of career my son ends up having, or hopefully having his own business, he's got that self-motivation that, okay, I need to get my work done before I go and sit down and watch TV. I need to get my work done before I go and play video games. I need to get my work done before I go and mess up the house or do something else. So it's just instilling certain qualities in him. So even with waking up in the morning, he has his own alarm. He wakes up by himself, he goes and showers, brushes his teeth, gets himself ready, gets his breakfast. He's 10 years old. I'm sure there are a lot of 10-year-old boys out there and their mothers are pampering them so much, they don't do barely any of that by themselves. But I want him to be a man who is self-sufficient. I don't want him to have to rely on no woman or nobody for that matter. Obviously, he can reach out to people for help, but I want him to grow up knowing that he is capable of doing so much. I also want him to be spiritual. So I teach him about the laws of attraction. When he's upset about things, I always make the point of saying to him, it's your choice how you feel. Remember that. Even though, yes, you might have got in trouble because, let's think of something that he's done recently. You didn't listen to me when I said no snacks because dinner's coming up. You need to take responsibility for what happened and why it happened. I told you something, you didn't listen, there was a consequence, now you're angry and upset. But take responsibility for that. If I can put that in him from now, then as he gets older, hopefully he's going to find that easier when things go wrong at maybe work or school, and he'll know, okay, I need to take accountability for this, and I need to take responsibility for it, and I need to learn from it. And it's a choice how I feel about it. Another thing that I really try to instill in him is that I want him to love himself. And I don't think men are really taught that, to love themselves. I don't know. Like, I have a brother, I have a dad, and we've had conversations, and no one said to them that they should love themselves. I also really, really bang into him that it's okay for him to have feelings. When he's crying, even though for some reason it really irks me when I see him crying, and I have been tempted to say, man up, stop crying, and I hold that in. I really do bite my tongue, because I think sometimes that's why so many black men are so angry, because they've had all these feelings and they don't actually know how to deal with them. So me and my son have had situations, and he's cried and he's wanted to scream, and I say, you know what, that's fine, you can feel that way. Go to your bedroom, cry as much as you want, write down on a piece of paper how much you hate me, and maybe you want to throw me off a cliff. Go and let those feelings out, because then as he gets older, he's able to deal with them. I'm trying to teach him all the things that as well I wish I'd learned just as a human, not even just being a woman. But when I was younger, I wasn't taught how to self-soothe. If I was crying, it was a case of being told, if you really want something to cry about, I can give you something to cry about. I wasn't allowed to slam doors. In a black household, you think you're walking around slamming doors. I used to see that on TV programs and be like, these little white kids are so lucky. But we're taught to just suck it up. If you get in trouble, suck it up. If you get slapped, you suck it up. No, that isn't the case. For him, I want him to be able to feel his emotions and to be able to deal with his emotions, so he's not holding that all inside. I also teach him about being healthy. This has kind of been a good and a bad thing, because my son's autistic. He takes things very, very seriously. So when we've had conversations about being healthy, he's then decided to cut out all sugar. He doesn't want to eat any sweets. He doesn't want any sugar drinks. He doesn't want anything with sweeteners in it. And I'm like, you're still a child. You're allowed to treat yourself. So I have to find that balance of talking to him about health, and I make sure that he sees me be healthy. So he has a Wii Fit, and he loves using it. He loves being active. He's got a little pedometer that connects to the Wii Fit. He checks how many steps he's done every day and things like that. I'm hoping as he gets older, it's going to stay in him as well. So yeah, I just wanted to make the point to think about what kind of boy you want to raise your man into. What kind of man you want to raise your boy to be. That's the way to say it. And what kind of things did you wish you learned about? Like, I wish when I was younger, I learned about sales and business and just having more self-confidence and believe in myself. That's something also I'm trying to instill in him. I wish I learned about taking care of myself and how much your appearance can affect the way you feel. That's something I'm trying to instill in him. What kind of man do you want to raise? One day you're not going to be there for him. What man are you putting out into the world? Now, it doesn't mean that he's going to take on everything that you've said, but for anybody out there like me who was raised in a religious background, like my parents weren't really, really strict with being Christian, and I don't even class myself as a Christian now, but I do feel it gave me a certain foundation. It gave me certain morals. I just looked at the world in a certain way, and it did actually put me on my spiritual path. So just think about the foundations you want to lay for your son, and let them be angry, let them cry, hold them, give them that comfort that they need. They're still so young, and I think unintentionally we try and make them grow up a lot quicker than they need to. My mum was extremely harsh on me, and we've spoken about it, and I get why she done it. She wanted me to be strong in this crazy, crazy world and to be able to handle things. But at the same time, it made me very harsh on myself. So I unconsciously, I can be quite harsh on my son. I can be quite disciplined and strict with him. But at the same time, I hug him. I tell him I love him. Every morning, I'm like, oh my gosh, boy, you are so gorgeous. The girls are going to be chasing you. Like, I big my son up so much because I want him to have that same confidence in himself. So again, just think of the kind of man you want your son to be. Be careful with the words you say to him, And be careful with the words that he says to himself. Correct him. The other day I heard my son, as a joke to try and impress his cousins, he was like, oh my gosh, I'm so silly, I'm so silly. I let him say it twice. When it came to the third time, I was like, come here, you're not silly. Do not say that about yourself, because you're one of the most intelligent boys I know. And I understand you're joking around, but words are important and you are not silly. That's what I said, and I let him go off and back to play. And so again, the book that I've been reading, which is a good book, I've only got through the first chapter so far, but Iyanla is the best. She's like my spirit mummy. Oh, I love her. If one day I could meet her, that would be like one of my dreams. But this book, Spirit of a Man by Iyanla Vanzant, for especially black mums, I would say any women out there, regardless, even if you're just dealing with men, this would be a really, really good book to get and to read. And yeah, I hope I've helped someone. I hope I've made you think a little bit more about what you want to instill in your children. And I'll be back again with another video.